Something big is happening today. A group of Democratic leaders has stepped into the spotlight with a sharp response to President Trump challenging a move that could reshape America's energy future. But before we get to their action, it's worth pausing to understand what drove them here. From the moment he began his second term, President Trump launched a full-throttle assault on renewable energy and environmental safeguards, harking back to the populist mantra, "Drill, baby, drill." In his inauguration address, he declared, "We will drill, baby, drill," declaring that the United States possessed the largest amount of oil and gas of any country on Earth, and we are going to use it, marking a decisive retreat from green energy commitments. That same day, he declared a national energy emergency, a move that fast-tracked approvals for oil and gas projects, dismantled the push for electric vehicles, and halted leasing for massive wind farms that degrade our natural landscapes and fail to serve American energy consumers. In the first 100 days of this second term, the Trump administration executed 145 environmental rollbacks, exceeding the total from his first presidency. These changes undermined clean air and water regulations, endangered species protections, climate policy, and vehicle emission standards, systematically reversing critical safeguards across the board. Throughout this period, Trump's rhetoric on wind energy grew increasingly vitriolic. At a meeting in Scotland with European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen, he launched into a blistering tirade. "We will not allow a windmill to be built in the United States. They're killing us. They're killing the beauty of our scenery, our valleys, our beautiful plains. It's a horrible thing." He also lamented that noise from offshore wind turbines was driving whales loco despite there being no scientific evidence to support such claims. He further dismissed the whole pursuit of wind energy as a con job, denouncing the turbine's longevity and recyclability, claims contradicted by experts who note turbines last around 30 years and are largely recyclable. Beyond energy policy, Trump even waded into seemingly unrelated territory by reversing the Biden administration's stance on plastic straws. On February 10, 2025, he signed Executive Order 14208, which declared paper straws non-functional and expensive, instructed federal agencies to stop procuring them, and directed a national strategy to end the use of paper straws within 45 days. During the signing, Trump remarked dismissively, "I don't think plastic is going to affect the shark very much as they're eating, as they're munching their way through the ocean." Underpinning these symbolic and policy-driven moves is the sweeping One Big Beautiful Bill Act, legislation passed early in his second term that abruptly ended federal subsidies for wind and solar energy. That law is expected to dampen clean energy deployment, jeopardize U.S. manufacturing in the clean energy sector, and risk future power shortages. While rolling back favorable conditions for renewables, the administration also ramped up regulatory barriers, tightening reviews and reducing tax credit access for projects, making low-income and agricultural solar programs harder to execute, and invoking national security justifications to investigate turbine imports and curb offshore wind development. Today, Democrats are publicly attacking his policy. Democratic governors from New York, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island, and New Jersey are mounting a coordinated defense of offshore wind development, calling on the Trump administration to respect permits already granted and to allow projects currently underway to proceed without disruption. In a joint letter, the governors made clear that undoing these approvals would represent not only a reversal of policy, but also a dismantling of years of progress in clean energy development. They warned that such actions jeopardize hardworking families, wasting years of progress and ceding leadership to foreign competitors, stressing that what workers, businesses, and communities need most is stability and predictability. Certainty, not reversals that would cost tens of thousands of American jobs and critical investment, they wrote, while cautioning that abrupt shifts in direction would impact countless other workers and taxpayers on scores of non-energy public projects as well. Rhode Island Governor Dan McKee captured the urgency of the moment in personal terms, saying, "It's an attack on our jobs, it's an attack on our energy, it's an attack on our families and their ability to pay the bills." Labor leaders have also joined the opposition with Patrick Crowley, president of the Rhode Island AFL-CIO, vowing that unions will resist the administration's actions at every stage. "We're going to fight you every step of the way, no matter how long it takes." Senior lawmakers have echoed that defiance. Senator Jack Reed, the top Democrat on the Armed Services Committee, dismissed the administration's stated rationale that national security concerns justified the pause on projects, remarking that the decision was not about protection, but about the president's insecurity. The immediate flashpoint in the dispute is the Revolution Wind project, a 704-megawatt offshore wind farm being developed by Ørsted and Skyborn Renewables off the coasts of Rhode Island and Connecticut. The project was nearly 80% complete, with 45 of its 65 turbines already installed when the Interior Department issued a stop work order in August, citing unspecified security issues. Revolution Wind was slated to deliver power to more than 350,000 homes starting in 2026 at a locked-in rate of 9.8 cents per kilowatt-hour below regional averages, and had been promoted as a cornerstone of New England's clean energy transition. Its sudden suspension has put at risk not just regional energy goals, but also hundreds of union jobs tied directly to the project. At the same time, the administration has moved to invalidate the construction permit for a separate, much larger 2.2-gigawatt wind farm off Maryland, being developed by U.S. Wind, threatening long-term renewable targets in that state. These measures have not been isolated. The Trump administration has revoked $679 million in federal funding across a dozen offshore wind projects in 11 states, rescinded a $716 million loan guarantee for New Jersey, and halted construction of a $4 billion venture off New England. Officials have framed these actions as a redirection of resources away from renewables and toward traditional infrastructure, but governors and industry leaders see them as a direct assault on the nation's clean energy ambitions. The legal battle has already begun. 17 Democratic lead states and the District of Columbia have sued to block the administration's freeze on offshore leasing and permitting, arguing it lacks both legal justification and foresight. Trump himself has repeatedly attacked wind energy, describing turbines as unsightly, inefficient, and deadly to birds. On Truth Social, he claimed that politically approved windmills were corrupt and harmful, even suggesting they were killing every state and country that uses them, while simultaneously asserting that energy prices were otherwise falling big time. He has also argued that solar and wind projects reduce farmland and increase electricity costs, positions that put him at direct odds with the governors and with the renewable energy strategies pursued during the Biden administration when 11 major offshore projects received federal approval. The clash is about far more than energy infrastructure. For the Democratic governors, the issue is tied to economic stability, workforce security, and long-term climate commitments. For the Trump administration, it represents an ideological stand against renewable energy framed in terms of cost, aesthetics, and national security. At stake is whether the United States continues its trajectory as a global leader in offshore wind or seeds ground to foreign competitors, while workers and communities dependent on these projects wait in uncertainty. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. As an independent channel, we don't have corporate backing. We rely on your support to keep going. If you found this video valuable, please give it a thumbs up and leave a comment below. It really helps more people find our work. Thank you so much for being part of our community. Check out the next video on your screen. We picked it just for you.